Have you ever noticed when someone tells you you should do this, you immediately feel defensive? Today I'm diving into why we should stop using the phrase, you should, and how a small change in our language can transform our conversations. Why you should can be problematic. The phrase you should sounds like a command. It implies obligation and judgment. Research shows that when you use the phrase you should, it can trigger resistance in others. Has it done for you? It often comes across as perceived that it can feel like an imposition on our own opinions into someone else's life. Whether you're giving advice or simply sharing thoughts, this language can unintentionally alienate your listener. Experts in communication suggest that phrases like you should can undermine a person's autonomy. Instead of empowering someone, it can actually make them feel criticized or boxed into a particular way of thinking, especially if it takes away their choice. Someone with ADHD, this is huge because it happens a lot on our RSD. The impact on relationships and personal growth. When we consider the phrase you should, we risk damaging our relationships. It creates power imbalance. It's like you're the one in charge of how someone should live their life. This approach can lead to defensiveness and less openness to feedback. In contrast, using language that invites discussion and collaboration helps build trust and mutual respect. This is especially true for romantic relationships and business relationships. For example, instead of saying, you should exercise more, try saying, have you ever considered a different kind of workout? I found it really helps me clear my mind. This simple shift opens up a dialogue rather than imposing a directive. All right, so here are a few tips for replacing the phrase you should. Here's some to help transform your language. First off, use I statements. Instead of saying, you should do X, say, I find doing X helps me with Y. This focuses on your experience rather than imposing it upon someone else. Attraction rather than promotion. Number 2, ask open-ended questions. Invite discussion by asking, have you ever considered trying X? Or what would you think about this? This creates a collaborative environment. So instead of dictating to them, we're like, all right, what about these options? Which leads to number 3, offer options, not directives. Suggest possibilities by saying one option might be to try X instead of Y. You should try X if it respects the other person's autonomy. And then framing our phrase as a suggestion. Use phrases like, it might be helpful to, or I wonder if. It often softens the directive tone and encourage exploration instead of resistance. Personally, in my relationships, I made a conscious effort to avoid the phrase saying you should in my daily conversations, especially with my partner and in any work situations as well. It not only improves how others receive my advice, but it also makes my relationships feel more respectful and empowering. It's all about building a space where everyone feels in control of their own choices, because they are. If you found these tips helpful and useful, drop a comment below and share your favorite. Because, when we're talking about language, simple things like the phrase you should can destroy relationships. It can cause a lot of imbalance. And recognizing we can only control what we can control, right? Like going back to the Stoic philosophy of recognizing your hula hoop, right? I call it the spiritual hula hoop. Everything inside this hula hoop I can control. So when I'm giving a you should to someone else, I'm trying to take their control. I'm trying to this is how you should live your life. And yet that never yields results. One of the things I've learned from, especially in recovery, one of the things that makes AA and the 12-step programs really powerful is in their traditions, it's attraction, not promotion. I mentioned this a little earlier, meaning that we give the example, because if you try to tell an addict or an alcoholic you should stop doing drugs, they're gonna be like, F you, I don't care what you think, right? Like, where he's like, hey, you're struggling with this, I struggled with this, I struggled with drugs, I struggled with alcohol, and these are the steps that I did, and now I'm at this place. It worked for me, maybe it can work for you. See, that's a way of transforming that you should into, here's my experience, this is what I've gotten, and this led to this result, which may be helpful for you if you're looking for the same result. So it is a really powerful thing of just changing our language just a little bit can open up our relationships and open up so much. So please share your comments below. Let me know how you how you feel when you use this phrase, how other people react to it. How do you react to it? How do you overcome it so you can develop strong relationships? Especially if you have ADHD, because this can be a real struggle. But thank you guys for watching. Appreciate each and every one of you. And if you want to support me, you can buy me a coffee down below. And thank you so much, and have a great, if not better, day.